Marvel Rivals has reinvigorated the hero shooter genre to me. In a market that is as release and die as the next Overwatch killer, that shit's not going to die anyway. This feels like something that is going to have some decent grounding in being a good competitor. First of all, can you stop just calling shit a blank killer? You all did it with Overwatch being the TF2 killer. I think Steam charts would probably disagree with that. Rivals isn't going to be a killer of any kind. It's going to have a fair amount of space in the spotlight and then disappear. A la every seasonal big game addiction for the general population. It'll die, it'll lose like 3/4 of its players in a few months, and then the new ADHD Hyperfocus comes out before the cycle repeats. And ooh, new shiny. Then you cut to a fortnight later, and bang, new shiny is now old, and you'll keep the cycle repeating because the industry's developed a culture of being the biggest multiplayer game, making the money, and bolting away like you're an Iron Fist player. All the players are focused on being the best at the latest thing. Then immediately jumping ship the second new thing releases. Oh, Overwatch is good? What's this? A new trailer? Time to jump ship and shit on Overwatch before they make us come crawling back. Marvel Rivals is following an if every character is broken, no one is mentality, where every character has a high enough skill ceiling with their playstyles that a highly skilled player could wipe out a majority of a team. And before you all complain, here's a tier list that I made. I'm not flattered, I'm not going to say, half the roster needs a nerf and the other half needs buffs. But a large amount of the cast does have potential to be broken. I think that while the cast is massive, the developers made one of the biggest mistakes releasing 2 to 3 duelists for every one strategist or vanguard. Yes, there's 33 characters. Reasonable to assume 11 should be in each category. There are 18 duelists, and there are 15 combined in the other two classes. There are 7 strategists and 8 vanguards. It's a mistake I see developers make again and again, and it's why you'll find so few people who play characters that aren't DPS. It's intentional to make the cast bigger without putting the effort to make a lot of changes. How much of a difference do you genuinely believe that making Wolverine a tank focused on self-healing, or Iron Man similar to how Groot is, but with simple flying mechanics? It's not a problem Roll Q will solve because it's a problem that's been inherent since Overwatch. People want to play the thing that makes them feel the most powerful, and that's why characters centered on damage dealing are so popular. It makes players with a lower skill floor, like me, feel like they have an impact without creating too much need for developing skills. Now, I'm someone who really enjoys having a smaller amount of maps, and the themes shown throughout the game are pretty short. You've got symbiotes, Spider-Man, Wakanda, and Asgard at the moment, which are all quite simple to create assets for and develop new maps. Whilst the players do feel like they move quite slowly for the most part, the map size is, quite small to compensate that. But they all kind of play into an all roads lead to an objective stereotype I see with throughout a lot of maps. There are very few paths that don't really lead to an objective, which is quite good. But it would be quite interesting to see more horizontal movement opportunities considering the amount of non-flying characters. The destructible environments add a small amount of variety to the way matches play out. However, it usually doesn't make a major impact to the overall match. Yeah, Hydra Base, in my opinion, is the best map purely because it has the most horizontal mobility options and alternate paths to get from point A to point B without necessarily directly getting to the objective. The opening on Spider Islands, Bridge to Temple on Shinshibuya, and the bit before the second point on Yggdrasil Path are all very heavy choke points where a Punisher sets up a turret there and you don't really have a lot of pathing available to him. Whilst I do think Marvel Rivals is a great game, I do think it does have some inherent flaws that have been shown consistently throughout the state of the industry. Cheers.